Hey, this is Alex G, and I just have to weigh in on this Starbucks in Philly situation. I'm so frustrated right now that I'm thinking about boycotting coffee. I'm going to have tea in a few minutes. I'm not even going to have coffee as my first drink of the day, although that's what I normally do to sort of relax and slide into a Monday. I'm doing tea today. But I'm so frustrated about what's going on. And listen, for those of you that are thinking, well, are you just this? Are you going to try to apply this to all of Starbucks? That's really not my issue. My issue is there's this preconceived notion or pre-established fear towards black men that we are up to something, that it prompts police officers to think that our kids are older than they are, that our men are more aggressive than they are, that cell phones or eyeglasses or Skittles or somehow weapons of mass destruction. I'm just trying to figure out, where are people getting these images? I'm not saying black men are perfect. No one is, but we're not taking out entire schools with Skittles or eyeglasses or cell phones. And so the fact that others sat in that Starbucks that day and did not have the police called on them is just crazy. The fact that a jogger came in and peed without buying anything is crazy. These two men were waiting for a third person. I'm told they were real estate brokers. It doesn't matter. They were human beings. They were customers. People keep throwing out the fact that they were real estate brokers, so we think, oh, professional blacks, because this shouldn't happen to professional blacks. This shouldn't happen to people. And so someone called the police, and they were arrested. The Philly, this is Philly. It's a city of brotherly love, and Philly has had its issues. The police have nothing better to do than to arrest and handcuff two men sitting in a Starbucks. And so, one, I just want to say this is not fair treatment. It's ridiculous. I do work in Starbucks regularly. I'm a customer. I went into a Starbucks about a week ago, meeting a friend. I got there about a half hour early, and I didn't want to order anything to drink. I'm a slow coffee drinker, so I knew if I ordered what I wanted, I'd be finished or it'd be cold before my friend got there. But I remember just thinking for a split second, and this is before the incident, for a split second, am I going to look odd or like someone who's loitering if I just sit here for 30 minutes without ordering anything? I remember that just crossing my mind. The first thing I want to say to my non-black allies is that as black people, we're always thinking and calculating and playing chess in our heads. Is this okay? Can three of us sit together without seeming like we're isolating ourselves? Can I sit here and not be a threat to anyone? Can I talk on my cell phone? So we're always thinking about these things, which is absolutely tiring. Second point is, Starbucks is saying we've got to retrain our staff members. What's happening is we have not acknowledged the attitudes that are just so prevalent in America today. We credit Donald Trump for giving voice to these kinds of feelings. Listen, he is giving voice to what America has been saying forever. America's not forcing these words down Donald Trump's throat. Donald Trump is merely a ventriloquist doll sitting on America's lap saying what America's been wanting to say. That's why America is so enthralled with him, because he has the balls to say what America's been wanting to say. But this whole idea that we're going to change our, retrain. So first of all, you have to understand, you're hiring people who come in with preconceived notions. That's not a Starbucks issue. That's a Nordstrom's issue. That's a mall issue. That's a Cracker Barrel issue. It's an issue that we have folks who have not had proper interaction with people who don't look like them. And so they have these preconceived notions that when in a bind, they act upon. So retrain, you might have to think about how you rehire. Ask people questions about their cross-cultural relationships. Starbucks, don't you want customers that look like me? Because we have money, we can afford $5 coffees. And you need to get that into not just your baristas, but into your managers, into the people that are making hires, to your regional managers. You got to be able to process this. Retraining, no, I think you got a deeper issue than that. We're revisiting our policies is what Starbucks is saying. So you have a policy that says profile black people? I mean, what do you mean revisit your policy? Revisit your people. This is not merely just a policy issue, because there were other white people sitting there prior to the visit of these black men. So what made them call the police on them? Well, maybe they were noisy. No, they weren't. Maybe they were disruptive. No, they weren't. Maybe they were picking up women. No, they weren't. Maybe it was a drug that. No, they weren't. These are professional black men sitting in a professional establishment, waiting for a professional friend to to buy a $7, I'm up in the price now, a $7 cup of coffee. And so you got to look more than just your policies. What's your ethos? Starbucks. What do you know? What do you, you're from Seattle. You're right out there close to the Rainier Valley. Like, what are you doing in communities? How are you thinking about communities? If you are afraid when the community sits in your store, then how are you giving back? I don't want Starbucks to rethink its practices or retrain its staff. I want to think about how is it putting money in our community? How is it giving back? This is not just a chance to ask Starbucks about how it treated those two black men. It's a chance to ask Starbucks, how are you treating Black America? Not Oprah, not Magic Johnson, not President Barack Obama. How are you treating Black America? This is just this embedded fear. What is it about us that it just invokes such a fear? Is there an awareness that we've been done so wrong that you think at any moment we're going to just send a message out to all black people and just say, retaliate, Project 40 Acres and a Mule? What do you think we're up to? We're trying to send our kids to school like you. We're trying to start our businesses like you. We're trying to obtain the American dream like you. We're trying to have a cup of coffee, a venti, just like you. And we're getting arrested in Starbucks? In Starbucks? Even with the old Woolworths counters in the 50s and 60s, blacks were demonstrating before they were arrested. Y'all are just arresting people because they're walking up, sitting in, they're not protesting or anything. Let's see, what else do I have on my list? Man, that's it right now. I just needed to weigh in and just say this. I'm disappointed, but Starbucks, y'all have got to make this right. America has got to make this right. This keeps happening, and we act like it's an isolated incident. That's what our white friends want to say. This is just Philly. It's just Starbucks. I'm not trying to get all of Starbucks in trouble, but I'm saying is all of America's in trouble because we have such a large portion of our population who they just fear black men the way this barista did, and we don't want to talk about it. And so we keep trying to figure out, what did they do to deserve getting a call? They woke up black in America. That's what they did to get the police called on them. And unless our allies want to understand that, you really are not allies. And really, we cannot just have black people weighing in on this. That's why I appreciate the white patrons who filmed, who challenged others in that store. That was very hearty to see. Because what allies mean is that you put yourself in harm's way and you stand up when you see injustice taking place. So this is Alex G. I just want to weigh in on this. If you want to hear more of my thoughts about Starbucks or other issues that are happening in our country, both good and bad, go to alexg.com, ALEXGEE.com, or you can look for my podcast. It's called Black Like Me with Dr. Alex G. And you can just search for that on iTunes or Spotify or on my website. America, we've seen our ugly side. We can be so much better than we are. Starbucks, you can be so much better than you are. You need to make an example out of this scenario to get this thing right. Starbucks is not just Philly that's watching. The whole country is watching. Make us proud, okay? Make us understand why we buy $8 cups of coffee at your store, okay?